What's up, a Cinema Shogun here, and a lot of you all have been reaching out to me asking me, why haven't we gotten the final report from the investigation into Bob Saget's death yet? Some of you all might even remember that last week it was actually reported that we should be getting this final report from this investigation sometime early on this week. Now, obviously, that time has yet to come. This report has still not come out at the time of this recording, and it is late on a Thursday. This report has still not come out. So a lot of people are asking me why it's delayed, because when they announced that this report was supposed to come out this week, they also announced that the case wasn't closed yet. They were quick to say that there wasn't an open investigation into the case still, that they weren't actively investigating the case, but they had yet to close the case. So now a lot of people are wondering, well, are they starting to look into things a little bit more? Is this why the final report is delayed? And judging as the fact that it's Thursday, I would believe that we're not going to get this final report anytime this week. I don't think it's going to come out tomorrow. I doubt it's going to come out, late tonight. And I don't think it's going to come out on Saturday and Sunday. If anything, maybe next week, maybe even later, who knows? But I know the way the news operates. The way that I operate covering the news, I operate under the belief that the news waits for no one. And that's the way I approached it when I came in and started doing news topics on YouTube. And it's worked to my success and, often a lot of my views aren't as good on the weekend either, because the weekend is where the news goes to die. Big news, they always drop big news Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You never see it on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The weekend is where they will dump news stories. Like they'll have a news dump on the weekend, or they'll release a big story maybe if they want to bury the lead. Maybe if they want the story to be buried, not talked about as much, they'll release it on the weekend because they know that people aren't as in touch with their, cell phones and everything on the weekend. People are doing things, they're out. They're not really as worried about the news. They're not as, they're not listening to podcasts and stuff. They're not even, it's weird because when it comes to news and podcasts, even YouTube, people consume it more on the weekdays as opposed to the weekends, which I know a lot of people would think that it's the other way around, but no. In fact, the weekdays are the best days to operate. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the best days for YouTube. The weekend is horrible for YouTube. The weekend's also horrible for mainstream news outlets. That's just the way it's always been. People tend to tap into what's going on in the world and tap into news stories throughout the week. And then they tune out on the weekend. So if we see this final report drop this weekend, I think that will be an indicator that they're trying to bury the story. I obviously think that something was shady going on with this story, that there's something shady going on with Bob Saget's death. I think there's a lot of weird signs that were there before he died. There's a lot of weird things that were said after he died. And just the way he died, it throws me off. It does not seem right to me. I've acknowledged the fact that freak accidents can happen. I realize that this could have been just a freak accident with Bob Saget. That doesn't go over my head. I know that's a possibility, but everything here just points at something weird going on. So I wouldn't put it past them to try to drop this report on the weekend. Now, I know a lot of you all might be thinking, well, it doesn't matter. They're going to drop the report when they want to drop the report. It has nothing to do with how the media feels. But you're wrong about that. If that's what you're thinking, you're very wrong about that. The media, these investigators, and when they drop these reports, they all go hand in hand. They work together almost symbiotically. So if you think that the media isn't as in touch with law enforcement, I assure you to really second think that and really look into things more. They strategically release these reports when they want to and to coincide with when the media wants them to drop. So the media works hand in hand with when these reports come out. So they would, if they wanted this story to be a big news story, if they wanted this story to even be a regular news story, this is something that you would see come out during one of the weekdays. Law enforcement doesn't even work as much on the weekends. So you wouldn't see this report come out on the weekend. So I would assume that we're going to see this report come out maybe sometime next week, sometime even later. A lot of people have been asking me, does this mean that they are looking into this case again? Does this mean that they're actually looking into this case more? And I mean, I don't want to be a negative Nancy here, y'all, but I don't think that's what this means. What I think this means is that they're kind of lazy. They just haven't really done all the proper paperwork yet. And they're just going to make us sit here and wait to build up the suspense. Honestly, I don't think that they're looking into this really much any further. They even said that. They said that the case was still open, but they're not even actively investigating into it. And they haven't answered really any questions. They haven't released much information yet. And they do that every time. They open up the room for so much speculation around these cases, and it's almost as if they do it on purpose. You know, maybe from this final report, we'll find out that they had, information that would show us for 100% fact that no one was in Bob Saget's room. Maybe they had a camera on Bob Saget's room and knew that no one entered that room that day but Bob Saget. That's a possibility, but it's not something they've told us. As of right now, all we know is that the last that they saw of Bob Saget was on a camera when he got off the elevator. They never let us know that they could see Bob Saget entering into his room, or they had a camera on his room at any point. We know that there was only one key swipe, but that doesn't mean that Bob Saget couldn't have opened the door for someone, right? Couldn't Bob Saget have opened the door for someone that came to his room? That has nothing to do with the key swipe. So we don't know what avenues they've actually looked into. But I do know from covering cases recently that they do this all the time. Just take the Brian Laundrie case, for example. In the Brian Laundrie case, they said that they found Brian Laundrie's jawbone and they were able to identify him by dental records. And they let that story be that, and they left it alone for months and months and months until they released the final report. And when the final report comes out, you come to find out that jawbone that y'all found, that y'all let us know about, was attached to his whole freaking skeleton. So y'all had his whole skeleton this whole entire time, chose not to tell us about that, just chose to tell us, oh, we found his jawbone. So now you opened up the door for all of these theories, all of these conspiracies, all of this speculation, when you could have just been more transparent from the beginning. If you told us that you found a jawbone, there's no reason why you couldn't have told us that you found the rest of the skeleton. But no, you wanted there to be this mystery around this case. And things like that make me feel like maybe they're working hand in hand with the media in how they release their information. It's always like they release their information in little tidbits, and then at the end you get to find out the big picture, when in reality, a lot of this information, if you're going to release a tidbit of the information, you could just release the whole enchilada, right? There's no reason that they couldn't have told us, hey, we found we found Brian Laundrie's jawbone. They could have just told us, hey, we found his skeleton. We found all of his remains. But no, they told us just a little bit, and then they made us speculate for months until they released the final report. Maybe the same thing will happen with Bob Saget, whereas they know for a fact that they had a camera on Bob Saget's room the whole time, and they know that no one entered the room, so they know for a fact that this had to be an accident, but they didn't release that information to us yet. So you never know. You really never know. Maybe they know more than we do. Maybe they're just complete idiots. After all, their first conclusion that they came to was that Bob Saget died from hitting his head on the headboard, even though the headboard is just a cushion. You could research the rooms. His headboard was just a cushion that goes up the wall. So there's no way that he killed himself by hitting his head on the headboard. So there's so much stuff here from this investigation that just makes you question the competence of the people actually looking into this case. I don't know if I can trust any of these investigators because it doesn't seem like they've been doing a great job so far. And they ruled out that there was foul play involved almost immediately. By the time we heard that Bob Saget was dead, they already said there was no foul play involved. But I would just like to know how y'all came to that conclusion. What piece of evidence do you all have that will 100% confirm that there was no foul play involved? Just tell us. Just simply tell us. They've told us, oh, we found Bob Saget in a room. He was laid like this. These are his injuries. We saw him on a camera. Yes, this is the hotel room he stayed in. They told us all this information to where it wouldn't hurt for them to just release like, oh, and we know for a fact that no one went in the room because there's a camera directly on his door. Just tell us. If y'all know for a fact that foul play wasn't involved and y'all could prove it, therefore there will be no speculation. I won't sit here and have to make these videos. You won't have to watch these videos. We will just come to the acceptance that Bob Saget died from a freak accident. But no, they don't want to, stop the speculation at all, because possibly they're working hand in hand with the media, and possibly because they don't really know what the hell is going on their damn selves. But I want to know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Hopefully we get the final report sometime soon, and when we do, I will do a complete breakdown of it for you all. But let me know your thoughts. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.